Yes, BMC, you were the first one here. It's because you came in through the preview. All right. Okay. Alrighty. Should this go? I guess over here. Ooh. That is the hard part now. Okay. Where to put you? Somewhere in the middle. I guess there. There we go. Thank you. There we go. And there is I like a lot of things and BMC, yeah. Just being here is enough. Hey, Michael. Hey, Marco. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday. Alrighty. I want it that way, but I want it the opposite. Yeah, I'm looking too far down. Sorry, guys. If the puppers moved to this side of the bed, you'd be able to see her better while I'm over here playing with things, but instead she's behind me. Hello? Okay, let's try. Yeah, hold on. Come on back. There we go. Then we're going to... It's not exactly what I want. Okay. Boom. That's so much better. Okay, got it. Alright, we got it. Hey, Pucho. Hey, Amit D. I'm not sure how to say your name. Yeah. We got everything going around over here. Hey. People are so funny and yet not. I'm good, Remy. I hope you are. Oh, Steve, you don't even know what I'm talking about. So, good for you, but you don't know anything of what I'm talking about. That's still doing good. It is telling me that again. Okay, good to know. Hi, nobody. I think that's how your username is supposed to be said. And then we have Mischievous. Woohoo! That's like also the dumbest thing to say, nailed you, because there is no discussion that has occurred. So that's odd. Thanks, Mike. They're not king. They're not at all. Hi, Lizzie. Thank you. Alright, let's go ahead and... I don't know what those statistics would be working. I don't know what those statistics would be at all. Like, not at all would I know what those stats would be. But alright. I think we're all warmed up and ready to go now. There we go. Hey, STLA. Stella. Are they rabid today, Galactic? I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't make a habit out of talking to TikTok ones, so... There's that part. They just say the weirdest things. They always do. It literally never fails. Right, GMO? Like, that's the whole thing. And that's the same thing for Night Owl. Like, give them their chance. Like, he did. He had a chance. He's already been in office previously for 4 years. We know his playbook. We know what it did the first time. Like, it's just weird stuff. Awesome. Hi, Parkers. Hi, Golden. Alright. Well, I'm just waiting for someone to actually give the phone call a ring. Otherwise, we can go over some news and stuff. Let's see. There was actually quite a bit that was going on. Reported in the news. A lot of recent shooters found and picked up by the police. One gunman is dead, along with one cop in another city. Like, people going crazy with their guns. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm here.
Going good. How are you?
Pretty good. Just wanted to start saying I don't support Trump, but I don't also support the candidates that are always picked for the Democrat side or the Republican side. It's more so that
Neither do I.
my choice is just based on the time of the time. Sorry, let me rephrase. My choices are usually based on the times that are happening, who would be the best candidate at the time, etc. And I'm also just curious, why do you think a lot of people feel like they have to pick one side or the other, whereas they could actually just have more of a unbiased opinion when it comes to voting and just vote for the person who would be best at the time?
So I mean, I guess it really just depends. When you're looking at what our country has ended up becoming, because people seem to forget that about, just at the beginning of the founding of our country, we actually had more than two parties, right? People seem to really forget that for a long time we actually had multiple parties that were actual eligible candidates that would participate in debates, conversations, whatever, in campaigning. But as of right now in today's society, we only have two large two party candidates, right? And the independent candidates never get enough funding, never get enough of the primary votes, preliminary voting, never enough of the actual popular vote at the end of each year. So they also have no access to federal funding, which also eliminates them from the presidential debates. If we actually had viable third party candidates, I think that would solve a lot of issues, but we don't. So we are stuck with the two party system right now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Another thing is, like, for example, when there are people who are more popular during the primaries, why do you think they don't get elected? Like, for example, when Bernie was running back in 2016, he was way more popular, in my opinion, than what Hillary Clinton was. But he kind of got shunned and pushed to the side and ignored by most of the Democratic left. And I'm very curious as to why so many people did that. But then 4 years later, when he ran again, they did the exact same thing, despite knowing and learning that he could have been a great candidate and he could have led the Democrats to actually win.
So what actually happened? Because a lot of people don't realize this, but like I believed in Bernie Sanders when in his
Me too.
first
I was a
campaign.
huge Bernie
Um,
supporter.
and a lot of people don't realize this. He actually had a heart attack in 2016 before the primaries occurred, and he actually withdrew his name before the primaries had actually occurred. So he had stopped running, and that's why, like, some people that did know it voted for Clinton. I still had casted my vote in the Democratic primary for Bernie Sanders, but yeah, he was sort of pushed out of the Democratic Party, partially because at that time progressive ideas and ideology were scorned, especially with all of the negative rhetoric coming from the Republican candidates as well.
Yeah. And then that leads me to my next question surrounding Tulsi Gabbard, because she had a huge switch from being part of the Democratic committee to now being a part of Trump's team. And I followed her a lot back in the day when she was supporting Bernie. And I'm very curious as to like what leftists and Democrats think about her switch, because when I was watching her during the primaries, it seemed like she was getting shunned like Bernie was at the beginning of his campaign. And do you feel that like maybe she just kind of got so angry at how things were progressing with the campaign that she just decided to swap sides because she knew that she'd get more recognition?
No, Tulsi Gabbard is a she's the wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, no offense to anybody that actually liked her, but she's if you confidently walk out onto the debate stage and you tell a bold-faced lie, right? Because she told every single lie was fact checked on what she said, just in regards to Harris, what she also said about Biden. All of that had been fact checked after the debate, and found out that she just lied out her ass. So like if listen, you can lie about your opponents, but don't make it so obvious that it's so easily fact checkable in 10 different ways. And just why would you see? I don't like politics as far as like the actual political candidates for what they for how they push lies about the opponents on other people. I don't like that at all. Like if I'm fact checking you and I find out that you lie, I'm automatically going to take you less seriously. But the number of lies that
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard herself said on the debate stage are absolutely unacceptable for somebody that wants to represent the party.
Yeah. Honestly, like seeing what she did and the lies that she did reminded me a lot of when Hillary Clinton lied about Bernie Sanders during her campaign, right?
Oh yeah, and some who said that? Yeah, Ford Kicken also wants to point out that she doesn't even mind lying to this day. Let's not forget that as the national intelligence advisor to the president, right?
Yeah.
She said that Iran didn't have nuclear weapons in March of 2025, but when Donald Trump contradicted her right before, Israel attacked Iran, it was, I don't know, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And then she came out like the next day and was like, oh, yeah, they do. She's
Yeah, that
just
was a
in there
weird
for
one
her
because
own one.
like we know that Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons; they just have a nuclear program, and
Yeah.
America doesn't really like the fact that they have that nuclear program.
Yeah, no. Let's. Anyway, yeah. Like I have, there is no love lost on my end for the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I think all of them are, um, just a bunch of dummies.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, like
All right,
none of them are in
that's
there
all
for the
I.
right reasons. In reality, that's why I support the Honest Bill. All of y'all, call your senators and tell them to support and vote for the Honest Act.
Yeah, that would be good that if it got passed. Unfortunately, there's a lot of corrupt senators in government right now that probably won't
All
let
of
that pass.
them.
All of them, yeah.
A good apportionment. The ones that actually voted for it, especially like someone like Josh Hawley, being a pretty conservative Republican, being like, here we're let's going to introduce the bill. I think it would have had more support if they had just kept it as the Pelosi Act as the acronym. Would have had more support that way. Not even kidding. It would have had more support by the Republican
Yeah,
Party if they just kept it that way.
fair.
Yeah. Well, all
All
right,
right.
man.
Well, those are my questions. I just wanted to know because, like, I've seen your streams a few times, and I wasn't too sure. I don't have time to watch the full stream. I wasn't too sure where you were lying politically, but you seem more central than anything, which is I like to see that in people. I like to see people who aren't biased and don't try to pick sides just because it's the side that they agree with.
Oh no, I like evaluating all candidates, all individuals in Congress or the party system, politics. That's the word I was really looking for. All individuals in politics by their own metrics and then going from there. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, you just earned a subscriber. Hope you have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
All right. Phone lines are back open for anyone that wants to ring in. It doesn't, John. That's also a weird comment. No, I think being able to evaluate them from an outside perspective is what we need. It totally makes sense, Darkness. Hey, Amy. And yes, mischievous. I was gonna read that too. That the independent parties are, some of them are grifting. Hey, Audrey. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
All right. How old are you?
Oh, I'm 24.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I did.
And do you still support him?
Well, I find it harder to, but I would say that overall I lean closer towards yes than regret.
Okay. What's the main reason that you still support Trump?
Well, my old primary justification was for, economic reasons, right? That was kind of that's always been kind of, my biggest concern because, I really wanted to vote for, like, perfect world, I wanted to vote for Chase Oliver, but he wasn't on my thing in New York. I couldn't choose him, and it kind of stunk. So that was my original first pick. But yeah, originally, I kind of just had support that he would, go after some deregulations, which he ended up not doing as much as I'd liked, especially with the tariffs. So, but I think that the thing that I probably still support him the most on, likely, is like a lot of the deportations going on, and I think his focus on trying to keep an America First type agenda. I think that it's better for at least trying to keep people a sense of unity, because I think we've lost that, and I think him at least trying to. I feel like him more so than Democrats in the recent years have the Democrats have very much been it feels like a pretty anti-American, and I think that more pro-American approach, especially with some of the deportations, is better in the long run.
So what does America First look like to you? Because it honestly is not the same for everyone, so I'm just curious.
That's fair. So I think a big part of America First is sort of like as we've become more regulated, it becomes really difficult to do certain social welfare policies, right? So I'm of the belief that social democracy and very regulated capitalism can only work when a population is homogenous. But when a population is diverse like we are, I think that's where the free market tends to shine the best. So I think that because we've gone so far into regulations, him trying to make sure that there's less illegals getting benefits, and that we're kind of trying to less illegals getting benefits from the taxpayers of Americans, and also trying to focus on what is it cutting the federal government. It makes it so that we trying to think. Sorry, I've never done this before over the phone. This is kind of cool though. Uh, but yeah, I was just trying to say that when I say American first, I more so mean we see the fruits of our labor and our tax dollars go to Americans. That's what I mean.
Okay, really quickly. You mentioned something. So you brought up immigration, and then you also mentioned Chase Oliver. What's one of the things that you actually agreed with as far as Chase Oliver's campaign?
So Chase Oliver is a libertarian, and in my personal view, that is the best way to run a country like the United States,
Mm.
because what Trump's doing isn't capitalistic. It's not, I'm a hardcore pro-capitalistic guy. I don't consider myself that much of a conservative, not really, but I consider myself really capitalistic. So I think that Chase Oliver's, whereas Trump is focusing more on trying to benefit the wealthy through through overregulation, right? I think Democrats and Republicans both alike are trying to overregulate the economy, and either way, whichever way you look at it, the rich end up winning, right? If the Democrats put in minimum wage laws and rent control laws, the rich win that absolutely. The poor never benefit from that. And same thing with the Republicans, right? As soon as they start trying to do tax cuts, the rich end up doing fine, and the poor don't really get anything out of that. But with libertarians, that's the best thing that you can do for an economy is promote competition. It provides alternatives to everyone, and instead of, especially for a country like the United States. I mean, if our central decision making process is rooted in politics, it's a winner takes all system. So eventually, a diverse country like the United States, we all just end up getting at each other's throats because there's so many different groups and subcultures, and only one can win through politics. But through economics, there's no winner takes all system. There's just alternatives for whichever group needs that alternative. Wherever there's a need, there's going to be a market.
Yeah.
And I
So
yeah.
what was Chase Oliver's take on immigration?
Hmm?
What was Chase Oliver's take on immigration?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
Oh.
My main reason for Chase Oliver is definitely an economic one. I mean, I think the libertarians have a dead center, Ron Paul and all that stuff, but I haven't been able to justify Trump's presidency economically, so I can justify it socially. Whereas Chase Oliver, I don't really know too much socially, but I think that, to be honest, as long as the libertarians can, deregulate the economy, I don't think it really matters too much what happens socially, because you need to have a free market in a diverse society in order to have, to make that work in the first place. I mean, what does it, it's like, Christians and, there's so many different groups, like, look at, abortion or transgender affirming health care. There's so many different types of groups that are going to disagree on that. Christians, LGBTQ, men, women, black, straight, poor, rich. There's going to be so much disagreement in that. And the conservatives and the Democrats' solution to it is just, pass laws on it. And then, most of the time, the libertarians are pretty much just, let the market sort it out. And I think that's the best way to not alienate people and get to the problem that we have now, where everyone's at each other's throats.
Okay, a couple of things. To be clear, it's very obvious that you actually never went through and read any of Chase Oliver's policies, because if you did, you would understand that the Libertarian Party, especially running under Chase Oliver, was for creating a simpler path for citizenship. Quite specifically on his website, he says going back to an Ellis Island style of way of processing immigration. And by the way, there was only a 2%, less than a 2% denial rate through Ellis Island back when, the country wanted immigration to occur within us, like within the United States. So Chase Oliver goes directly against what you're telling me now today. And let's also be very clear that there's been a law in place since 1968 that actually says that immigrants, undocumented immigrants, are unable to receive any sort of federal Medicaid or Medicare benefits, including Social Security as well, like as its own separate umbrella. So there is like they're not able to receive any federal benefits like that if they are undocumented, illegal, whatever, unauthorized, whichever word you want to use. If they are here and they don't have paperwork, they don't receive federal benefits. Can they qualify for state benefits? Yes, that's up to the individual state and local level, right? And so, but that didn't touch a penny of what was being sent from the federal government into the state's budget for those programs.
So, two things. One is I don't think you quite understand my view. I might not have explained it too well, but I'm not against immigration.
No,
I think
dude,
that
you talked a lot, is what you did. And you also jumped and pivoted between a lot of different points to try to cover.
Well, I'm a little nervous. I've never done this before, so I'm sorry if I wasn't entirely clear. To be honest, it was a very broad question. I didn't really know where to start. I didn't know really where to pinpoint. I just kind of exploded at the mouth, and that's my bad. But I'm just trying to narrow down. I appreciate you telling me. That was kind of jumping around because I do that. But as for this immigration, this Ellis Island type thing, I am for that, so long as libertarians deregulate the market, because, like I said before, a diverse country does great with a free market. And in fact, a diverse country needs a free market to function well. But when a country like the United States is so diverse and doesn't have a free market and is overregulated as much as it is now, it gets really, really, really bad. And we're kind of seeing that now. We're seeing it with Europe too. Especially with all their anti-immigrant protests going on, and anti-tourism. A lot of that is because they're letting a lot of people in that they don't want to let in, because those other people are getting benefits that the natives there don't want other people to have. They want they want their people to have it. So I'm okay with the Ellis Island type situation where as long as the market is free, which is deregulation, that's the libertarians' whole game. So I'm not against that. I'm for that. But so there's that.
Deregulation at the end of the day ends up usually hurting American citizens. For example, when we deregulated the housing market, that originally caused, guess what? The housing market crash in 2008 that we saw under Bush, that then Obama had to come in and correct, right?
Why does the government have to correct that?
Are you familiar with the FDIC?
Can you explain it to me?
So the FDIC is backed. So, okay. I already get it. You're probably not even going to agree with this. Okay. So when you have your money in banks, the FDIC covers your individual accounts, I believe up to $10,000, right? So if the bank goes under, you're getting paid out the money that you lost in the bank crashing from the federal government to make sure you actually didn't lose your money.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's sort of just like a safety net from the banks provided by the government.
Correct, but I'm sure that's not something you agree with.
It's not. I'm not a big fan of.
Okay, thanks, guys. FDIC is up to $250,000, and I did ask him that question already. African, like we're gonna just went over that. Okay, so when the bank, so it was either the government bails out the banks, right? Which was cheaper overall, or they would have to pay every single American citizen within the United States country up to $250,000 per bank account in the entire country. So
yeah, that's not possible.
Exactly. So it was cheaper on the American government to bail out the banks to keep them in business, right? But this is what happened in 2008 when we deregulated the housing market, deregulated the standards of credit that were needed in order for someone to obtain a home loan. By the way, that was the very first time that Donald Trump attempted to do Trump mortgages, was in 2008 during the deregulation period specifically, and immediately failed, right? Because regulations came back and then he couldn't keep it up. So that's even more funny, right? And then you roll forward under the Obama administration where he puts in place the Dodd-Frank Act. And under this act, what occurred is that corporations had to wait 90 or more days before they could bid on an individual house, right? Well, that regulation was rolled back under Donald Trump. So now when I hear all of the conservatives and the GOP and the Republicans and the MAGA vote complaining about BlackRock buying up all of the houses in the United States, all of these other countries companies, individual companies buying up all the houses in the United States and driving up the cost of the market, well, that's on y'all because you voted for him in 2016 and put him in office. It was literally
I don't entirely think that BlackRock is the greatest culprit. I don't think they're entirely the greatest culprit here.
I didn't even say just them, right? I said other corporations as well. Like
other corporations.
Yeah,
okay.
There's more than just BlackRock. Can I think of all of their names? No, I think Vanguard is another one. But more than just them, even at the local level, right? Even state and local levels, they're buying up all of these houses, right?
Buying the houses from who?
Individual homeowners. So like myself, right? Like if I put my house up on the market and I put it for a base price, let's say $225,000, right? Typically, what the corporations were going in and doing was overpaying, right? They would pay like $250,000, so they'd give me an additional $25,000, which a normal consumer in the area isn't going to be able to put that up. They're usually either they're trying to negotiate my price down of the house, right? I'm assuming have you ever tried to purchase a house?
No, never.
Okay, and that's totally fine. So typically when you're trying to buy a house, you're going to underbid them in order to get a negotiation going on so you can meet in the middle, okay?
Sure, but these corporations can afford to pay a lot more money.
Exactly. So when we had a 90-day hold, that guaranteed that individual citizens such as you or myself could actually put in and give us a negotiation room in order to buy houses from other individuals instead of letting a corporation buy it, come in and buy it, and then upcharge it by $25,000 to $50,000 or whatever they want to do just because they might have replaced all of the technology in there. So like the fridge, the microwave, all of that, made it shiny new appliances, but that only cost them maybe $3,000. But it was enough for them to say, let's add another $25,000 on top of it. Or they turn it around and they rent it for an exorbitant amount. That was the start of what caused our original housing crisis or the rent starting to increase under the Trump administration.
Regarding rent, I don't know. I've always been under the mind that oftentimes it's especially rent control that ends up devastating the poorest communities. As for houses, do you think that the bigger culprit is other businesses like BlackRock or the other ones that you were talking about buying up the houses? Or do you think it's more so an issue of there not being enough houses and people not having enough money to build houses?
No, there are plenty of houses. People just aren't living in, let me see. I can't remember the last name. How many empty houses are in America? Right now, there's an estimate, and this is by United Way, and also USA Facts. So if we look at USA Facts, it's 15 million American homes are empty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We have plenty of houses. They're just in
places. So there's not a shortage of homes. It seems to me like there's a shortage of money to purchase them.
It's not even just that. They're also in places people don't want to live.
That people can't afford them.
No, that people don't want to live.
People don't want to what?
Where people don't want to live.
Sorry, say that again?
Where people don't want to live.
Or like, So, like, Detroit?
I
Like,
don't
talking
know.
about zombie homes, like, out in, I don't know, low-income neighborhoods, or is that what you're talking about?
No, it could be anywhere. It could also just be in the middle of bumfuck nowhere in Kentucky or Wyoming or Oklahoma, right?
Hmm.
Or even
But,
Ohio, even in some middle
but there's
areas of
houses.
Pennsylvania, right? Where people don't want to live.
Okay. And so it still sounds to me like there's just not enough, that people just don't have enough money to buy these houses
Right, because
rather
if they're
than
not in their area, right? When was the last time that you've ever moved? Have you ever moved out of state?
Yeah, actually, I'm moving to Georgia pretty soon,
Mm,
and it's not gonna be too bad. I don't really own too much, to be honest. So we've
right.
priced it at around like less than $1,000 move.
Well, that's extremely lucky. I moved with a all of 2 bedroom belongings, right? Like that's it. House, like out of all my belongings, it was 2 bedrooms. Still probably cost me about $4,000 to move.
Okay.
So you're lucky in that case. Like,
Yeah, I know things are expensive, but I think that blaming corporations, I feel like is sort of
no,
a.
I'm
I
blaming
feel like it's
deregulation.
blaming
That's what I'm blaming.
deregulation,
Yes, something
which
that
you're
you
claiming gives
are.
more power to
Nope, I didn't
the
make that
chief.
claim. I just said it adversely
Okay,
affects individuals such as myself and you.
got it. Okay, so just in this specific market, in this specific situation, not as a broad rule.
Though typically as a broad rule. For example, deregulation would also include getting rid of OSHA, which the Republican Party in Congress has already introduced a bill called the No OSHA Act to try to get rid of OSHA, which protects our employees at the base level.
Don't you think that the employees can protect themselves? Do you think it's up to the government to protect people? I mean, if I had a choice
Yeah.
between the work, do you, I mean, if I were to work
This is
for, if I
why
have
the
a choice,
libertarian ideal fails. You are unfortunately a prime example. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but
sure, no,
you
you're good.
saying that government shouldn't be involved in anything, government shouldn't help anybody, government shouldn't do this, government shouldn't make sure that your water is clean, government shouldn't make sure that, houses are built properly in states like Florida or Louisiana, where they're constantly being hit by hurricanes. None of this should occur. No regulation should ever tell you what to do to actually make it safe. We should do away with the FDA. We should do away with health inspections on restaurants, right? So that if somebody, doesn't wash their hands, right, accurately at a restaurant, no big deal. They'll just get food poisoning, right? We're just going to promote all of this stuff.
Well, I would say it's promoting. I would say there's two main justifications. One is a moral one, which is I think that the nature of humankind is freedom. I think that once you take
No.
away our choice, I think once you take away our choice to be free, you reduce us to just not even being human. We need to make choices for ourselves on an individual and on a mass level. And when you take away those choices, you restrict our ability to make any kind of human decisions, and then we're just kind of slaves of the state. And I'm horrified to be a slave of the state. I think tyranny is a really bad thing. I think that in other countries that can work out. If other countries that have other values or other cultures have other values like safety or equality over freedom, but that's not what the United States is supposed to be. The United States is supposed to value freedom above all other things. Europe has made their choice. They value
What's the
equality
first
of
three words of the preamble of the United States Constitution?
liberty. The Constitution says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That's not the first 3 words of the preamble.
Is it we the people?
Yeah. I'm getting off this ride. Morals say don't help anybody, African. Your morals say let people be people and let the chips fall where they may. Holy baloney. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
You didn't have to get upset. I was having.
Oh, it was you. My bad. Guys, if I hang up on you, consider that a boundary. Consider that a withdrawal of consents. I'm sure consensual stuff is also against his morality too. go. But phone lines are open for anyone other than him. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
I am here.
Awesome. How old are you?
45.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did not this last time around, but I just wanted to get that one fact in here. If you check the stats, workplace mishaps were declining, almost gone. Then OSHA got introduced.
Sure. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Hello?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I support Trump too. I just wanted to thank you so much for doing this because I saw your stream and it makes my day to see a educated, smart woman doing this because we need to be there for like this.
All right. Well, thank you. You have a good one. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
Can I sell you car insurance?
Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How old are you?
32?
Did you vote for Trump?
No.
All right. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes,
How old are you?
64.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes,
Do you still support him?
yes.
All right, great. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to do a quick PSA. Muting TikTok, so hold on. All right, everybody on YouTube, thank you guys for being here. And so, Adam, I'm not debating people, for one, like it's a conversation. And thank you, everybody on Twitch as well for being here. We're trying to, get going on Twitch. Twitch is new. But for everybody over on YouTube, just a friendly reminder, we do have super chats and memberships available. If you send a super chat, it does go right up on the screen, kind of just like that, and I will address it. It might take me a moment, but I do address it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Back over on TikTok, if you guys haven't already watched the first pinned video, which is now on my story, on my page, it explains what contest is going on over here. So be sure to watch that, help participate in everything in it, and let's go ahead and clear out this the light goal up here at the top and the little gifting goal of some roses. All right. Sorry about that, caller. I do appreciate your patience there. What is the main reason that you still support Trump?
He's the best one out there for now. Listen, the Democrats didn't do a good job. And, listen, you could say a lot of things about, what Trump does, okay? Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, okay? But he gets a lot of stuff done quicker than most presidents ever did. His policies, like shutting the border down. A lot of people don't, listen, not everybody's going to agree with him, okay? So that's basically like, whatever I would say, somebody's going to say, there's pros and cons about everything. But, I think Trump did the best job possibly he can do. Democrats didn't do nothing. You had Biden in there. He was auto-pen everything. He didn't even know his name. Listen, I'm an American citizen. Whoever does the best job, that's who I'm with. Sometimes the Democrats do better, and sometimes the Republicans do better. But right now, you can't tell me what Trump did in 6 months. It would take the Democrats 4 years to do.
You mean destabilize the economy, ruin how we look on the world market, destabilize the United States credit rating on the world, destabilize the American dollar. What else has happened? Fire the head of the BLS, all because he didn't like the numbers. So now that he can actually cook the books on the numbers for the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that everybody forgets not only releases our unemployment numbers and our unemployment unemployment record, but also is responsible for correctly and accurately reporting on our inflation rates, and literally said, right, very clearly said, that he would fire anybody whose numbers he didn't agree with. So he's acknowledged and already basically put it out there that he's okay with cooking the books to make himself look better. Lost jobs, right? Fired thousands upon thousands of government workers, right? So who now get to claim unemployment, right? With the passing of H.R. 1, also known as the Big Beautiful Bill, right? We're going to see millions of American citizens lose their health care. It's incorrect to even say that there was no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, because that's still being taxed out of everybody's monthly paycheck. It's a tax deduction at the end of the year, and that's only for 3 years. We only got a tax drop for as far as the percentages for the first 2 years, and that's it. You're right. It would have taken the Democratic Party 4 months to ruin all of our relations. Sorry, 4 years. You said years. Yeah, correct. 4 years to ruin all of our foreign relations with countries that we've had great relations with for decades, right? Especially the G7 nations.
You're awesome.
You're correct. It would have taken them 4 years to do that. Donald Trump managed it in 6 months.
He did a good job. Listen, these guys getting away with the tariffs, not giving us no money. NATO wasn't paying anything. You know,
how much money does
everything's
NATO
on
owe us?
America. Everything's on America.
How much
You know
money
what I
does
mean?
NATO owe us?
How much they owe us?
Yeah, you
I
said they
have
weren't
no
paying
idea.
anything. So what
They
does NATO
weren't
owe
paying
us?
as much as we were. We weren't. The United States was paying 90% of the bill.
90% of the bill. No, we actually only put in 15.87%. And Germany also matched us at 15.87%. So that's incorrect.
Now, let me tell you something. Donald Trump is the best one out there right now. You know, the Democrats don't even got anybody.
Is that
Who do the Democrats got? They don't have one candidate.
because
for
no one's in
president.
office?
What? You got to start.
What year is it?
campaigning now.
I'm sorry. Let me check
Listen,
my
they-
calendar. What year is it? Oh, are we
Listen,
still?
they-
Is it only August 2025?
They better start campaigning now
Oh.
because listen, they had Kamala.
Okay. I'm done listening to somebody that actually can't address my points. Let's be very clear. I went through a long list of everything that Donald Trump did and messed up in the first 6 months of office. And all I could say is, yeah, Donald Trump's doing a great job. He agreed basically that he's deregulating, he's devaluing the United States credit rating, devaluing the United States dollar, devaluing how we look for other countries, ruining our relationships with other countries. I'm so glad that he could admit that. Like, thank you. Also, let's see. Okay, Joey, thanks for the 20. Again, that's something I have to look up. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Sorry, I'm not trying to talk to 18-year-olds. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Do you still support him?
So.
What's your main reason for still supporting Trump?
Unfortunately, I do think what he's doing with the immigration policy, I do think it's worked because Americans are losing their jobs every day to non-citizens.
Do you have actual proof of that? Like
Yes,
statistical analysis that shows it, a statistical study that proves that it's at a direct result of immigration?
Not off the top of my head, but I have it somewhere in my files here. So yes, I've also, this is the highest unemployment rate of African Americans as well under Trump.
What, you're saying he had the lowest or the highest?
the lowest. I mean, I'm sorry, the highest unemployment of black people under Trump.
Okay, really quickly, I just want to go ahead and debunk someone. So specifically Joey, thank you for sending the $20 so I can go ahead and look this up. So according to the Department of Labor, you would actually be incorrect. Workplace accidents were not declining before OSHA was established. In fact, injuries and fatalities were significantly higher before OSHA's creation. One example they gave is there was an estimated 14,000 workplace fatalities prior to OSHA being established. And this is all available right here. So everyone can go look it up. Department of Labor. Thanks, Joey, though.
But also, I feel like he said he wants to fire Jerome Powell. I feel like Jerome Powell is doing a very good job.
Okay.
Because under Jerome Powell, before Trump came in, I believe the economy was going down. He kept inflation in check.
Yes, Jerome Powell is doing a good job.
That's all you got for me?
Jerome Powell is doing a good job by not capitulating to Trump.
But also, I believe Trump is. I believe all the dirty things with, you know what I'm saying, with the Epstein files. Also, I truly believe. Why does he get to have a $400 million airplane and he gets to go off into the sunset with that airplane? Why does he get to do that? I believe if Obama did that, these people would be up in arms.
They would be. Doesn't really. I understand why you're saying you're wishy-washy on supporting Trump.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate you, man. You have a good night.
Hasta luego.
Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
Do you still support him?
Certain policies, yes, but other policies I do not.
Okay, what is your main reason for still supporting Trump?
Currently my main reason for still supporting Trump would have to do with immigration. So I noticed that you talked in your stream earlier about how it's kind of controversial on studies on immigration and downward pressure on wages.
I'm sorry, repeat that again.
So you had talked in your stream earlier about how immigration doesn't have a downward pressure on wages.
I didn't say that. I actually asked someone to prove that.
Okay, would you agree then that immigration has, from what you understand, that immigration has a downward pressure on wages in certain industries?
Yes, it can on certain industries. Oh, I 100% agree with that. Specifically, you can look at the construction one, like the construction market, the ones that actually are building houses. You can also look at it on farms as well. That also occurs. So, yeah, no, I won't disagree that it has a negative imbalance or a negative correlation on certain markets within the job market.
Yeah, so that would be like one of the main reasons. As someone who works personally in the service industry, I've seen a lot of downward pressure on wages, and I feel like a lot of people say that maybe Americans wouldn't work those jobs.
Are you talking about like service industry as in tips? Restaurants? Which service industry?
Yeah, service industry in general, yeah.
No, you're going to have to be more specific. Because in my opinion, when it comes to restaurant employees, when the federal minimum wage for tip workers is already only $2.13, the federal government is the one devaluing the job of tip employees.
Not specifically, no.
Yeah, why
okay,
could
would
you
you,
ever live off
okay,
of just
would you,
$2.13 an hour, like anywhere within the United States? It's the federal government that is
no,
devaluing
but
the work of
obviously,
restaurant and tip workers. If that wasn't the
yeah, but
case, then they would increase the federal minimum wage for tip workers to at least just be the standard minimum wage that is already in place of $7.25 an hour. Instead, they're not doing that. So no, it's actually the federal government themselves that is devaluing and causing the wage disparity that individuals might see, specifically in the service industry when it comes to restaurants and tip employees.
do you think on average tipped employees make more than non-tipped employees in service industries?
On average, no, it just depends on what kind of restaurant they're in.
No, statistically on average, do you think that a tipped employee makes more than a non-tipped employee in the same service industry? So would a waitress make more than a cook, essentially?
No.
Yes, that is true. They do make more on average.
Are you not familiar with the fact that typically waitresses have to share their tips with the cooks?
That's not a thing at all at restaurants now. Tip sharing, I think, is more uncommon than it is common. I think tip pulling between waitresses is pretty common, but not tip sharing between cooks.
Nope, it literally depends on the it depends on the restaurant. Like they do that. They do that. It's similar enough, like I would also posit to say that a bartender makes more than a waitress because people get a little
Yeah,
bit
probably.
more, welcome with their wallet if they're inebriated.
Okay. I mean,
So you can also say
a
that
lot of this,
bartenders then are
a lot of this is
devaluating or bringing down the wages of regular waitresses and waiters.
a lot of this is pretty much irrelevant anyway to our original point, which is that immigration inadvertently has a downward effect on certain industries
Only
in
on
terms of
specific
wages,
industry.
right?
I didn't even disagree with you.
Yeah, so that would be something that I would support.
No, because at the end of the day, we already know that it's going to have a negative impact on the rest of our market, especially from farms and getting produce into our grocery stores. There's a reason why Donald Trump himself said that he's no longer going to specifically target farms because he knows that migrants are going to be found there more often than not. Not to mention
Yeah,
the
but I mean,
extremely racist comment he made about farm workers, too.
yeah, I don't disagree about Trump's mouth. It's extremely retarded usually. Um,
Don't say that
so
word.
for the most part, though, would you be okay with paying higher prices in grocery stores if you know that people are being paid more fair wages?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I support equity, sir.
Okay. So then you should have no problem with deporting illegal immigrants who work for already pretty much slave wages inside of agriculture and service industries and construction and hiring Americans instead for a fairer wage, correct?
What would how we pay our construction workers have anything to do with the price of ground beef at the grocery store?
Okay, fine, irrelevant. Then agriculture in general.
Yeah, you would have to specifically go off of the agricultural market. So, sure, if we could actually find a number of people that actually want to live and work on farms and get paid, I would say honestly that farm employees, given what they have to go through with the sun, should be paid at least $25 an hour. Too bad that would also bankrupt the majority of farms in America. My biggest thing is if we really want to get rid of individuals hiring undocumented employees, undocumented workers, then target the employers instead of targeting the people that they employ, because just getting rid of the immigrants that come into the country isn't going to solve the root cause of the issue. The root cause of the issue is the employers themselves.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We should be finding the employers as much as possible for hiring undocumented immigrants. But what happens more often than not is that the illegal immigrants just get arrested without the employers actually getting any retribution for it. I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, because that's, again, going to be the only thing that's going to stop it. Also, guys, on TikTok, if you haven't already, send your daily heart me, send your Go Popular, collect your points up at the top. And let's go ahead and clear out this live goal. In order for it to be lit up on the gift gallery for the contest, we need 2 from the same person. I'm just being very clear, sir. Like, there is no correlation causation in the majority of jobs that show that migrants bring down the overall wages, right? And even if that was the case, specifically for STEM industry jobs, Donald Trump wants to expand the H-1B visas that are given out to immigrants coming into the country. So he's literally going to be giving away STEM jobs to other people.
H-1B visas don't directly have a downward impact on American wages due to the fact that usually you have to hire above an American salary. And you also
Oh, no,
have to
I was
have
just
that
giving
job
you an
posting.
example of immigrants literally taking jobs.
Yeah, but I mean,
Supported by
H-1B
Donald
doesn't
Trump.
have an effect on them. Doesn't have an effect on American wages, right? Because, like I said, you have to wait for an American applicant, usually for about, I think it's a year. And then also you have to pay them above what the American would get paid if you include the cost of fees, because you have to pay them exactly the same. So overall, it comes out to be more expensive generally to hire an H-1B worker, which is why it's usually done in like industries where it's a need for it.
Yeah, no, I was just giving you an example of literally migrants literally taking jobs away from American citizens, supported by.
It's not taking jobs away, right?
It is in the STEM industries where we're literally supporting literally high school students going into STEM specific classes, schools, college events, everything like that, and telling them that STEM is where you need to go to actually make something of yourself or make a living when you're older, because that's the industry that's going to constantly grow. Right? We know this. Like, STEM is being
all
pushed
of that
out,
is irrelevant
but
because, like I said, you need to wait a year trying to hire an American, and also it generally costs more, right? Would you agree that?
No. So wait. Hold on. It costs more to
hire an H-1B worker.
Wait, you just said that it would cost more to hire an American worker. Did you misspeak?
No, I asked you specifically.
No,
do you think it would cost less to hire an H-1B worker than an American?
No, you actually were making a positive claim,
saying
that.
Question. Would you agree that it costs less to hire an H-1B worker than an American for the same job?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me? You seem to know.
Okay, so you don't know. So
So tell me. You know.
You have to hire them for the same exact wage.
Okay.
Right, and it also costs court fees and filing fees for the application for the visa. So it actually costs more on average. Yes.
Okay. So the employer is the one that's paying for the filing fees for a visa?
They have to pay for part of it, yes. I think they have to pay for part of the court costs. And then they also have to pay for the lawyer to actually argue it. But I'm not too certain, but I know it is more expensive than hiring an American for sure.
That's funny.
Yeah, so the USCIS filing fee, Form 129, costs $460. Then you have to do the fraud prevention detection fee is $500. The premium processing fee for expedited processing is around $2,800. And then you have to do the ACWIA training fee if you have just started hiring H-1B visas. And then you also have to do public law fee. And all these are borne by the employer, yes.
Nope, not in all cases.
Not in all cases, what?
No, they're literally not required to, right? So there's no law or statute that says that employers are required to pay in order to file for all of these fees, which means they can make the employee or the potential prospect of an employee bear the upfront cost of the H-1B1 visa so that they don't actually have to pay for it themselves. There is no federal law or statute that demands that they in fact do. So while
Okay,
we can
so
make a
in most
positive,
cases, are
while
the
we can
employers
make it,
paying the fee?
I'm sure that there might be like, let's say 60 to 40.
Okay, so what leads you to believe it's 60 to 40?
Because again, there are loopholes. So we have to at least say, do you want me to give you 75 to
Yeah,
25?
there are loopholes to everything. In most cases, though, you would
Except
agree that
this
the
is-
employer is paying the fee.
No,
Because that's how it's usually
not
done,
necessarily.
right? Like
No,
anywhere you
not
go to
necessarily.
apply to an international job, most of the time the employer is borning the cost of any sort of labor visa fees, right?
No. I've actually looked at international jobs, and the answer was no. Almost every single one that I looked at. This is why you shouldn't answer questions for an anecdotal one. Like, no, dude. Like, the majority of them don't pay your way.
All right. Can we get a fact check on that one?
You fact check yourself, bro.
Okay.
You didn't offer anything to like support your own claim, so no, I'm not gonna fact check for you. It was originally your claim. So, you let me know how that goes, man. You let me know how that goes.
All right.
Oh, gosh. Oh, it is just... Well, actually, no, Jester in some countries it's not. It's not everywhere. All right, phone lines are back open. I mean, I'm just being honest. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hey, yes, I am. I was just making sure, first and foremost, I'm actually trans. Is that okay for your guys' show?
Yeah.
Perfect. I just always want to double check. Well, my name is Dave. I'm a conservative transgender influencer out of Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say that, why do you support Trump?
I
Or
don't.
you? Sorry. So why don't you?
Yeah, so Dave, what are your pronouns?
My pronouns are they, them.
Awesome. Cool. So normally I ask people why
What
they...
are your pronouns? I just want to preface that.
She, her.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. So, you called into my channel. How this typically works is I ask the question, so why is it that you support Trump? And you can just give one main reason, then and I'll tell you mine. How about that?
Yeah, so I think Trump's a great guy because being a transgender, so as myself, like I have so many rights and freedoms. Like I just can flourish about and do whatever I'd like to in this beautiful Portland, Oregon city. And I've already made $3 million this year, and I haven't even recorded any of it. I'm not paying taxes. I mean, Trump Daddy's going to take care of me, you know?
Gotcha. So if you're an influencer, you're not a good job. You're not doing a good job.
I'm not a good job?
Yeah, you're not.
But I've made more
job.
than you, though. You're broke.
I'm so broke. Yeah, you're right.
You're about to be my maid if you keep talking. Like, what's up?
Guys, I am so broke. Help me out.
You're a dumb
so
broke bitch. You're a dumb
So
broke
broke.
bitch with a purple fucking headset. You dumb
Oh,
bitch. You dumb
purple!
broke bitch.
Oh my
you
God!
fucking Jew
Purple
fuck.
is
You
so
Jew retard. You
bad! Just a friendly reminder, guys. Purple is such a bad color. I don't know why it always triggers them. Headphones? What's wrong with purple headphones? Are you okay? Are you okay? Oh, well, if someone serious wants to call in, we'll take that. Well, Lizzie, I'm just seeing your comment in Discord, and I'm very glad to see that. I'm very glad to see that. Oh, that's cute by you. I didn't know that. Oh no, I agree, Millie. That was annoying. Honest to goodness. All right. Well, let's see. Well, thanks, guys. Let's see. So I will say, like, sometimes the news isn't very honest about what they're reporting, right? So originally, what was it? Who was it that got fired from his position? But in reality, he was just getting a new position from Trump. Can't remember the name. There was so much news that came out yesterday. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Billy Long. Thank you, Sparky.
Yeah, I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. How old are you?
45.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him?
I do.
Okay. What's your main reason why?
I guess my main reason would be, if I'm going to be honest, I don't have a lot of time to study politics, and I guess I'm what you call a vibes-based voter, you know, and the visceral response that he got from the left in general, from my perspective, I thought he was onto something, right? And when I started seeing some of the independents and, you know, former Democrats like Tulsi and RFK Jr. start going, you know, coming aboard, I started to think that there was something to
YouTube,
it,
I'm going
know?
to be restarting, so come back if you want. Hit subscribe.
But, and I mean, that's the main reason.
Okay, so you voted for vibes, and you couldn't get behind the Democratic Party. Is that what I'm understanding? I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I want to make sure
Say that
I
again?
understand.
I'm sorry.
So you admit it yourself that you voted